one of the greatest assets as a loan officer that we all really struggle with is our ability to generate leads. Bruce, you said it right out of the gates. I don't have enough activity level and I'm stressed out. How many of us are feeling like we could take on more leads?
All of us.
Yeah? Is that a fair statement for everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what we've done for the first couple weeks has been really trying to teach you guys the mindset of what's necessary, because I believe that if you're going to go out there and actively pursue opportunities, you have to know what to say and why you're saying it to people in order for them to be attracted to you. The next piece of that is, now that you have the ability to go and do that, we're going to start tracking your results. And by tracking your results means that you guys are going to start using this document, and it is called a lead tracker. Okay? This lead tracker document is something that I literally used since probably 2000 until the 2013 year was over. This document was opened up on my desktop every morning before I opened up anything else. This document is used to literally track every ounce of opportunities that you guys put on your plate. So let's kind of look at this, and here's mine. I'm going to take you back to, let's go 5 of 2005. Does everybody have their computer screen up?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to look at how complete my lead tracker sheet is. This is the document that every time a client called me, let me rephrase that, anytime a lead called me, anytime that I engaged in a conversation with somebody where I was able to talk to them about what I do, I was able to get their name, a phone number, email address, they went onto this sheet. Let me rephrase that again. Every single person that you communicate to about what you do for a living and are able to get their name and phone number is a lead. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. This document becomes so powerful every day that you keep it up to date and you use it on a regular basis. And let me explain why. The lead sheet not only provides you with a list of everybody you've talked to about your job, but it keeps you a running total of how many leads that you're gaining every single day. So let's go back to the initial fact. Keep in mind that whatever you acknowledge, you get more of it. So what do you think this lead tracker sheet does or did for me every single day?
Keep you focused.
What does it keep you focused on?
Your activities and what you need to be focusing on and what you need to be doing, working on.
I'm going to say it in one word: results.
Yeah.
You guys are not paid to close loans. You guys are paid to originate loans. You guys are paid to originate leads. You guys shouldn't care about closings as much as you should care about your leads. Once you understand that concept, you will have more closings than you'll know what to do with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
So moving forward, before we get into this sheet any farther, moving forward, I need an agreement from each of you. This document needs to be completed and turned in the day before every one of our classes. It needs to be completed with the code that you'll see on the left, and every column has to be filled in, and we'll go through the details of what each column is, but you guys need to make a commitment to me that this is something that you're going to do. If you guys are unable to make that commitment, then the coaching program that we're working with is really going to end, because there's nothing more that I can teach you that you don't already know. The difference is that how we apply what we've learned and how we continue to apply what we go through is really going to be predicated on your ability to fill this lead tracker sheet up based on the numbers that you're seeking. Is there anybody who thinks that they can't fulfill this requirement? Awesome. I love it. Everybody's committed. All right. We're going to do a little math here for each of you guys, because we're going to have to come up with some expectations. Catherine,
Yes.
how many loans do you want to close on a month-to-month basis within the next, what do you want to see in your closed loan volume by the end of October? How many loans would you like to close in October?
6.
6. Okay, 6 loans. Based on my statistics, based on my numbers, I honestly believe that if you're batting 30 to 40%, you're doing fantastic. That means that in order to get 6 loans, you have to generate at least, let's say 30%. So you need to generate at least 20 leads. Okay?
Okay.
And this is for by October 31st.
Mm-hmm.
How about Cheryl? How about you? How about you?
I like the number 6. That sounds good to me.
Well, I don't want that number to sound good. I want you to really put some thought into it. Okay.
Well, I have, and I've, based on what I did a few months ago, 6 was a great number because that's where I closed, and I liked my paycheck.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Okay, so we know now that 20 leads is what's necessary for 6 loans. For you, Cheryl. What about for you, Bruce?
I'd like to see 5.
Okay, 5 loans. So you need 15 leads. Here's the cool part about what this document does. This document now takes away all the smoke and mirrors that most LOs use to hide behind what they do every single day. This document really does open up your business and what your activities look like on a week-to-week basis, heck, on a day-to-day basis. How many of you have tracked the number of leads you've gotten in any given month?
I've been tracking it since I got introduced to you in this.
Okay.
It's about
So you have a general idea on how many leads you have currently for the month of July?
Yes, I think 17.
You have 17 leads. Awesome. So far, that's fantastic. So how many applications have you received out of those 17 leads?
I would say, I don't have it in front of me because I'm just right at the office. I would say about 4.
Okay,
4 or
so
5.
look at that. So I said 30%. We're probably right there. So you just confirmed the math for me that I've known for the last 20 years. Every lead that you get, it takes you 3 leads to get 1 possible closing. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that that closing will happen in 30 days. Each one of the closings or each one of the applications turns into either a fruit or a seed. And that's my definition of which loans are closing in the next 30 to 45 days and which loans are closing 45 days and out. So I consider leads that close within 30 to 45 days being fruit, and I consider the loans that close 45 days and longer are seeds. And the cool part about this lead tracker form is the fact that I'm able to track my business and was consistently tracking it for all these years. I literally can go back and I can look at applications and look at documents and go back and actually track who I needed to call. So I always had a 90-day window of people that were still open and still active but hadn't made a commitment to me. So it's a great pillar of your business to help you kind of hone your skills. So if you look at this document on a daily basis, meaning if you open it up every day and it's Friday and you got no leads for the week, what does that tell you about what you did all week?
You got stuck in the minutia.
Yeah, maybe you spent more time being a loan officer and less time being an originator. This document is what creates originators, and this document is what separates originators from loan officers. Does anybody know the difference?
I'm guessing the originator is focused on face-to-face, building relationships, and trying to get the pre-qualifications done, and the LO is following the paper trail after the fact.
Essentially, yes. I always considered a loan originator as somebody who actually originates relationships. A loan officer is somebody who takes the paper side of the business and pushes it through. Now, sometimes, most of the time, for all of us, we have to wear both hats. The difference is that how much time you spend wearing the originator hat dictates how busy the loan officer is. And this document literally maps out for you where you spend most of your time. And the beauty of this form is what we're going to focus on over the next several weeks, which is honing your skills, finding out who's really working and who's not working, see what activities are really working for you and which activities aren't working for you. And we're really going to peel away the layers of each of you individually and focus on those techniques that work well for you and get you away from the ones that don't work well. So let's kind of dig into this form a little bit as it relates to mine. So as an example, you'll see a bunch of symbols on the left-hand side, okay? Each one of them corresponds to an actual status of what I consider to be, where the loan was in the process. I considered the ones that were the dartboard. Those are loans that when I met with them, I took an application, and they actually became closable deals. Does that make sense?
Doug, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When you say you met with them, do you generally try to meet them face-to-face?
Always. I was never successful, and this is not saying it can't be done. I was never successful not meeting my clients belly to belly. And the reason that I came up with in my head as a rationalization is because I crave that human interaction so much that I don't think I could convey how much I care about my clients unless I shook their hands, gave them a hug, or sat with them belly to belly for an hour. And that was my prerequisite. I would not send out good faith estimates to my clients. Anybody that called me looking for a good faith, I simply said, I'm sorry, I don't issue good faiths. I don't do that unless you're willing to meet with me face to face.
Gotcha.
And I did that because as soon as you send out a good faith, you have now commoditized your ability to be competitive. Because as soon as they get that, they're going to shop you against numbers, whether they know the numbers are accurate or not, and that's just an unfair advantage that other loan officers have because they're unethical.
Gotcha.
So for me, meeting with my clients face-to-face was always a huge must. What you see in the red X's are people that foreclosure, listing house, pre-approval, Dondra Schmidt, didn't have good credit. Pre-approval, refinance, a bunch of these people, the red X's, were people that just ended up being non-financeable, and I just simply told myself that they're never going to, they would never be closed. The blue, the circles were people that were still active, that potentially had an opportunity to do a loan for me, but they were not going to be taking an application with me within the next, and closing the loan within the next 30 to 45 days. Does that make sense? So each one of these people was, that had the circle, was a lead that was active. That meant that I could always go back and farm them. That meant that I could always go back and get either a yes or a no and ultimately decide whether or not I was going to do a loan for them or not.
Hey, Doug, I'm going to mute myself because there's a horn honking as I get out of my car.
Yeah,
so if you ask me a question, I may not answer.
No problem. Thank you. The next one is the name of the lead. The full name of the person, in some cases, if you couldn't get it, just the first name. But I always strive to get at least the whole name. The next one is source in detail, and this is the one that really helps you identify the pillars of business and where you get it from. We're going to scroll down here to the bottom, and you're going to see these categories. CCR stands for Current Client Referral. This meant that during the application process, I had 4 of my current clients refer me while they were in process. I think that's pretty good. Past client referrals means people from my database that have already done a loan with me came back and referred somebody after closing. PC refers to past client. Personal PF stands for personal friend. RLTR stands for realtor, and then the others, add, business, affiliated, relationship, and builder. Didn't really do much with those pillars. I got all the business that I ever needed from those 5 categories. Ads, if you guys think that running ads would work for you, that's where you would put the ad, the ad referrals. Business relationships would be business relationships that are, like certified financial planners, CPAs, attorneys, and so on and so forth. Affiliated relationships would be people that you get business from that are that do plumbing or electrical or HVAC or some other business that you align yourself with. And builder is if you guys have a relationship with a builder account. Are you guys clear on what those are?
Yep.
Okay. The next one is the status. The status was simply either pre-approval, refinance, most of the time pre-approval or refinance, or if they were not going to be a deal. And I knew that right out of the gates. Phone numbers and email addresses in the phone number column, and who referred in the other column, which would be the referral source. Specifically, name of the person or entity that was referring you. And this stuff all comes in significantly, it becomes more significantly valuable to you 90 days from now. Tracking your leads every single day and every single week, we're going to be able to go back and mine your pipeline. So I'll give you an example. So I have a couple LOs that I've been coaching for a little bit over a year and a half now. And one of the things that one of the LOs and I had a conversation with was, none of my purchase transactions are popping, but I've got so many pre-approvals, I just wish they would pop. I just am not going to hit my numbers for the month of July. I said, well, why don't you pick up your lead tracker and go farm your leads for the last 90 days and make connections with the leads that you haven't talked to in a little bit. He was able to secure 3 more purchase transactions simply by doing follow-up with people that he's talked to once or twice, but it's been 45 to 60 days since he's talked to them. This document becomes the staple in how you run your business. I don't think that there's an LO that you could have a conversation with that knows exactly their conversion ratio, knows exactly how many leads that they're getting in on a month-to-month or weekly basis, and where all their leads are coming from. This is the mind shift between being an amateur and being a professional. Professional athletes track every number. Free throws, from the arc, batting averages against curveball, changeup, sliders, fast pitches. Everybody who's a professional tracks their numbers specifically to get better. The lead tracker does exactly that. I'll know at the end of every week if you have no leads coming in. Well, the conversation that we're having is not going to be about conversational styles. It's going to be, what is it that got in your way? See, over the next 8 to 10 weeks as we use this lead tracker, you guys are going to have to become extremely vulnerable and clear with what your activities look like every day, because your lead tracker will simply provide me with the details of what's really happening. You guys see how valuable this tool is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted that commitment out of you guys in the very beginning, because it's going to get extremely real. I mean, it's going to get really real for you guys. So I know that based on the numbers that I'm seeing, Kat, you're going to need to generate 20 leads. That's basically about 5 a week.
Okay.
That means 1 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl, same thing. But you've got 17 leads in, so you already have activity level and momentum building. And Bruce, that means 15 leads for the month. That means 2 to 3 a week. Now, if you ask yourself what you do every day, how hard is it to generate a lead a day? You guys thinking that's hard?
No, it's not hard.
Nope, it's not.
Pick up
Let
the
me
phone
ask you
and
guys
open your
this.
mouth.
What's that? What's that?
I get an emotion.
Oh, I just said you have to just pick up the phone and open your mouth, or, sorry, Allison and Eugene just arrived.
Got it.
Anyway, you just have to, wherever you go, make sure you wear your, and it's easy to start conversations. like that. But yeah,
Yep,
you just have to
exactly
pick
right,
up the phone
Cheryl.
and
Anywhere you go, anybody you talk to is a potential client. There's not another industry in the world where everybody that you know on Facebook and everybody you know in your day-to-day life is a potential client. The beauty of the lead tracker is that you know at the end of every day, if you hadn't gotten a lead, you know that your day was pretty much wasted. The cool part is that once you understand this and you start thinking like it, the fact comes in. This fact, keep in mind, whatever you acknowledge, you get more of it. Every day when you look at the lead tracker and go, God, I didn't get any leads yesterday, that means I got to get at least 2. It shifts your focus from one activity to another. You start feeling guilty for doing the details when you know you should be spending more time doing the originations. And I'll be honest with you, in 90 days from now, I'll know who actually has the ability to be an originator and who has more the ability of just being a loan officer. And not that one is better than the other, but we'll be able to have an open and genuine conversation about where we go from here. The lead tracker is as simple of a document as you can come up with. It tracks how many leads, it tracks the quality of lead, it tracks who the lead came from and where it came from. Everything that you need to know to be able to effectively manage and run your business the way an owner should. If you guys go back, we'll look at my lead tracker here real quick. Look at how many, look at the realtors, past clients. So let's just go back. So 4 of 06, 6 past client referrals, 2 from realtors. Certain months wasn't nearly as good. It got more realtors, but look at past clients, current clients, and past client referrals. See, it isn't always built on one pillar. Can you see why it's so important to diversify the location of where your business comes from?
Yeah.
Most of the reason why we have ebbs and flows in our business has less to do with us spending time being originators. It has more to do with the fact that we put all of our eggs in one basket. But the art of asking, the art of understanding what it means to be a giver, the art of conversation about why you do what you do allows you to help. It allows you to help to pull business from certain other areas, like your personal friends, like your past clients, like your current clients. You know, we talked about the word create last time, you remember? Do you guys remember having that conversation?
I'm not recalling it.
Create is an acronym for creating creating a referable experience. The CCRs and the PCRs are a direct result of that mindset. That's it. I got 10 leads because the mindset of creating a referable experience is all I cared about once the loan got into the process. That's how powerful those 2 pillars can be. Those 2 pillars were free. I got 10 leads for free. Just doing what I always do. Believing, like Cheryl said, that I'm a great deal. I'm really good at my job and people are blessed to have me in their corner. And then following it up with a request. This consistency in my leads doesn't come accidentally. Look at that, 7 past clients, 2 current clients, 7 past client referrals. I mean, the model of what I'm teaching you guys is you literally can look at your realtors as being a part of your business, but it doesn't have to be the only piece of your business. Would you guys like to get, what, 14, would you guys like to get 16 leads a month just from doing a really good job?
Yes.
Who wouldn't want a really strong referral from somebody who already knows you, likes you, and trusts you? I don't think there's anybody that wouldn't want that, right?
Right.
So ask yourself this question. At the end of 30 days, by this time next month on August 15th, how many of us are going to have a current client referral that's actively doing a loan with us? Guys, that's an easy conversation. You guys all have loans that are in the process right now. if you've been listening to the conversations we've been having and you've been setting up the expectations appropriately, this should be a very natural transition with your clients. So what I'd like to do is we're gonna get ready to end the call. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you guys a copy of the blank lead tracker. Moving forward, this lead tracker has to be completed every Thursday, and in my email at the end of every Thursday before our call on Friday. Don't bother sending the lead tracker in if it's not completed, meaning you should have phone numbers, names, people who they referred, otherwise they're not a lead. Okay?
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
In the number of calls column,
Yep.
what does that?
I'm sorry. Yep, the number of calls was how many times you had to field a call in order to get the appointment or the conversation.
Okay. Gotcha.
Most of the time, when you look at like past clients and current clients and past client referrals, it was always one phone call. I'd call them back, and it was, let's schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
When your business is generated on endorsements and advocacy, most of the people that you call back, you don't play phone tag with.
Right.
You just don't. But more importantly, it always allowed me the ability to answer my phone. Because I wasn't doing the minutia, because I turned my business over to like a loan partner, my mindset was always on, it was always on as an originator, because I opened up my lead tracker every time I got a call in, and this was the document that was staring me in the face. So while I was talking to them, I was typing out their information. I learned that instead of putting it on a sticky or another piece of paper, I simply used the phone and I put it in there while I was talking to them on the phone. It allowed me to start the conversation off that way.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty is that when you start tracking it the way that I did, and by all means, this is not the only system that works. I've got loan officers that have recreated their lead trackers. I've got a gentleman, I'll show you here in a second. Mark in Texas has probably one of the most complicated lead trackers that he basically took and said, all right, guys, you guys want to see how I do this? Let's roll. So he took his lead tracker, let's see, and he created, where is it? Here we go. Here's Mark's lead tracker.
Wow.
This is on steroids.
Yeah.
This is what he said to himself. He goes, in order for me to track my business, this is what I need. So he's got realtors, he's got names. I mean, this is more information that it would drive me crazy. This is way too much information for me. But he uses it because his volume this month, he's going to close 1.8 in volume this month. He sees this as being the best way for him to originate and track his business. And so the document that I'm giving you, is because I'm a very simple person. I don't want complicated. I can't do complicated. It doesn't work for me. So I want my lead tracker to be as simple as possible. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You guys have each now committed to a document, a homework assignment, but more importantly, by the end of October, if you use this document every single day, there is no question in my mind between now and the middle of September, you will have generated, each of you will have generated 20 leads or 15 leads a month. By the end of August, we'll have a great, probably a very good indication of where you're spending your time and who are your strong referral sources and who are not. I'm hoping that by the end of August, when we roll into September, we'll have enough activity where we can start really guaranteeing ourselves 6, and 5 closings for the month of October. Does anybody feel like this isn't going to help them?
No, this is going to be a great help.
Is anybody afraid?
No.
This is where the vulnerability has to come in, guys. I will call you guys out on your activity levels now. I will call you out on what it is that you're doing every week. If I get a lead tracker sheet that has partly filled out forms or the leads haven't changed from week to week, I'm not going to let it sit. You guys have to agree to the vulnerability side. It'll always be done in a very constructive way, but you will be on the call with other people who will hear and see, because we're going to pull up everybody's lead tracker every single week, and we're going to discuss it. Because I honestly believe that unless you're clear on what you do every single day, you'll never change your habits and never change your activity level. It's the fact. The more you acknowledge that you want more leads, the more you're going to get them, guys. I promise. I'm living proof of it. That make sense?
Yes.
Is anybody excited to use this?
Yeah.
Kat, you've been really quiet. What about you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah, cool. Okay, what about you, Bruce?
Yeah, I'm ready to take a tool and be able to take it to the next level. Like I said before we got on the meeting today, I'm frustrated with my level of activity. I need some accountability. I need some organization. I was actually sitting before I got on the phone call today and going through all my leads since I got into the business, and there's a percentage that are going to close, I believe, still, but
Yep.
I need to be able to organize them in such a fashion that they're being prospected and communicated to regularly.
This document is not meant to take over your CRM. This is not a client relationship management tool. This is an easy one-click, two-click, three-click document that you can scan every single day and go back 60, 90, 100, 10 years and just look back at all the people you've done business with and talked to. It's going to be a huge transformation in your businesses. When you open it up and acknowledge that you want more leads, guess what happens? You get more leads. Sometimes it happens just because you will it. Sometimes it happens because you have it in the back of your brain and you start changing your dialogue. Sometimes it happens because you said, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to go out there and start making calls today. Whatever the motivation is, this document, like I said, pulls away all the smoke and the mirrors, and what's left is the true representation of your activity level as an originator, not as a loan officer. Got me?
Yep.
Woohoo! I'm so pumped to see you guys do this, man. The guys that did it in the past, the LOs that I've been coaching for the last year and a half, all of them, since this document was implemented, have literally, they've changed their businesses. Literally, I can give you, if you would like, I can have one of these guys come on the call next week and share with you the experience of what it means to track their leads. And I'll tell you, these guys, I mean, Ryan Miller, he's closing north of $2.5 million. Mark Zachary is closing north of 1.8 this month. Margot Hornblowers did her first $1 million last month. Who else is on the call? Dave Flashner. Heck, do me a favor, Cheryl, go talk to Flash. That guy's killing it. I mean, I'm talking about efforts from people that really were struggling with their businesses, and this document changed the way that they view their, really just the way that they view themselves and what they do every day. So it's a huge eye-opener. That's my soapbox for the day, guys. Any questions?